Congress seems to have reached a bipartisan agreement on new gun legislation. Now, I'm going to take a little time and talk about the details of what they say they are agreeing on. But before I do that, I do want to kind of add that when it comes to the answer, I believe that there is an agreement to be made between two sides. Mostly what I'm hearing is giving more to one side than, just you keep giving more to one side and you keep giving more to one side and you keep, there's just more of that. With that being said, these are the biggest pieces of that gun legislation. Number one is a federal financial allowance of red flag laws in the states. Ultimately, they make it federally legal for a state to choose for themselves to pass or not pass red flag laws. If you've watched this channel, I've communicated I believe that red flag laws are the single most biggest danger to the Second Amendment, because all it takes is a judge to determine that you should lose your guns, and you might not even know about it. You definitely didn't have any legal representation in the matter. You just, one day they knock on your door with a warrant and they take your guns. And then you have to go prove that you're innocent in the court, and then maybe you'll get them back, maybe you won't. This is a danger because if at any point a people group is deemed dangerous, like Christians, for example, or really any group of people, if the group is determined dangerous, then they all lose their guns. Therein lies the danger, and I just kind of want to remind you, like I have done in many other videos, that Germany in the 1930s had very free and open gun laws. Everybody seemed to have a gun, and then it was deemed that Jews were dangerous, and we all saw how that played out. The federal government had also done that with the Cherokee Indians, as well as the Sioux, and I'm sure many other Indian groups in the past as well. Second, they can use your juvenile records now for background checks. I'd be very curious how far back, like how old you have to be. From what I understand, it's if you're not 21, they can use your juvenile records. I guess I'm just not going to really comment on that. I think we all make mistakes when we're kids, but I see that a lot of these problems which we're having with gun crime in America are younger. Typically either kids or young adults, so I see what they're getting at with this. Just not really sure how I feel about taking juvenile records and applying that to your constitutional rights. Feels a little sketchy. I get it. I see what they're after, but I'm just not really. I haven't even really heard of that idea until now. So to be quite honest, I haven't even formed an opinion on it. Doesn't feel right, but I get it. The third is that those selling collections for profit would need an FFL now. So there's a lot of people that will go to a gun show and they're selling, they'll get by a table, they'll sell their private collection. Well, if you're profiting, if you're showing any sort of financial profit, you will need an FFL at this point. The next one is that then billions of dollars will go for community mental health centers. I think that's really one of the better pieces of this. I've always argued it's a mental health issue, it's a spiritual issue, way much more than it is a gun issue. It's the deterrent. I think we have a generation. Well, I don't want to even blame a generation. I'm not going to do that. Let me take that back. I think we have a group of people that are really lacking an understanding of the importance of life and preserving life and the quality of life. They just don't value life. It's something that you can just give or take in any moment, and obviously that's a strange mentality to have. It's very foreign to most of us. And I believe so putting billions into the mental health communities I think is huge. I think that's really I think there needs to be a lot more of that. But those are the big pieces of it. Be very curious what you think. I'm trying my best to kind of stay neutral and just kind of show what I think this says, and kind of how it affects the Second Amendment on this. Because, you know, I believe regardless of what side of the Second Amendment fence you are on with your beliefs, we all want the same thing. We all want to know that our families are safe. We just have different ways of going about making sure we know our families are safe. The way I know my family is safe is I protect them with firearms because I see the evil and the craziness in this world. Other people go the opposite direction, but in the end, we all want the same thing. So again, I'm trying to, you know, stay as neutral as humanly possible on this, but at the same time, I believe, and I've said this in a previous video, that there's a negotiation to be had. But these types of negotiation that Congress is having is just, well, let's just put more gun restrictions in place and that'll help. You know, minus the billions into the community mental health crisis. I think that's a big piece as well. So, I don't know, love your thoughts on all this. We'll see whether this even comes through or not. I mean, all signs say, yeah, it's going to happen. Some say before the end of the week. Love to hear your thoughts on it. Put it below. If you like this video, click like and subscribe. Feel called to support this channel with Patreon. That link is also below. But the most important part of this channel is we take prayer requests. So please don't ever hesitate to send that in. Thank you for watching this episode of God, Family, and Guns. And as always, love God, love your family, and love guns.